In this episode, you'll discover a powerful skill to transform your relationship with the past and take control of your reality. Why? Because when you understand how memory works, you unlock the door to rewriting your story, healing old wounds, and shaping a future that aligns with your highest self. Get ready. What you're about to learn will change the way you know time, mind, and self forever. This is Countdown to Breakthrough. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Hello. Can I show you how powerful your mind is? We're creating a show called Countdown to Breakthrough. Okay, and so basically I have 7 minutes to show you one of my best techniques for handling any challenge that may ever happen to you in life, make you strong mentally. And if I don't serve you in 7 minutes, I'm gonna pay you just for taking the 7 minutes to even talk to me. Are you willing to play?
I don't really got enough time. Right?
Oh, okay.
I mean,
7 minutes.
Go ahead, take a game.
Okay. Can you mic him? What's your name, by the way?
Great.
We're in Herman Park today, and we're here to test the zero gravity technique on perfect strangers. The issue is, I have no idea what problems people are going to tell me about.
It's off the top of my head.
Just off the top of your head.
I don't think you'll be able to. I don't think you'll be able to figure this one out.
Okay, what you think?
By maintaining the balance and peace in a polygamous relationship.
Okay, so Dre got a different kind of situation going on. Okay, so check this out. I'm talking with Dre, right? And one of his ladies is right behind me. She holding the baby. And apparently she didn't really want to. I didn't. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that he was with people. I just ran up on him, so I wasn't thinking that there was a whole, you know what I'm saying, crew behind me, right? And so if you go and watch this episode, like, she's yelling at him throughout the time that we're working together. So she's like, so I'm like trying to guide him through like this healing session, and she's like, Dre. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, oh. And this was like this was our first day. This was our first shoot. This is our first, like, you know what I'm saying? So, you're just out here running down on people, and you don't really know what's going to happen, especially in Houston. I'm in Austin. So Houston was like its own little different culture and all this, right? So, okay, cool. But what's interesting about Dre is, like, Dre's having problems with dating two women at the same time, right? A monogamous, a one-to-one relationship. A lot of y'all married, those have their own challenges. Now you start bringing new people in a culture that is not built to, we're not really instructing our children on how to actually exist well in these relationships, how to live well and love well in these relationships. And so now there's a whole bunch of different sorts of learning that you have to do independently of social structure, right? So it's not like you can't like call your parents and be like, hey, what did you have to do when you had two wives and they were both fighting? And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's because it's not a part of the cultural pattern in which Dre grew up in. A lot of things he's having to discover for the first time. Okay. See, his energy is telling him one thing, but he's not taking time to decipher it. So by the time I'm catching Dre, he's experiencing confusion. By the time I'm catching Dre is experiencing confusion. And he even talks about that in the episode. He's like, he feels lost, he feels confused, not knowing what to do, not knowing what the situation is, not knowing any of that. And so our sort of healing session, we had to make sure to put him back in touch with a higher form of energy. Something that could clearly light the way for him. Something that could help him see the options that were available rather than the ones that were so bogged down in confusion he was overlooking. But it gets at this notion of, as we're living, if we're not paying attention to energy, if we're not knowing how to pay attention to energy, then we will abandon ourselves. Because necessarily that would mean that we're paying attention to external influences, to conditions and circumstances that other people want for us, to ideas that other people don't want for us. Either way, we're moving away from what is self and moving toward what is other. And we experience this fracture in identity as a result of that. And that makes problem solving really difficult because who are you really solving the problem for if you don't know who you are? You know what I'm saying? Okay, so Sublime is saying, Lord, why do you say now Sublime, why are you saying that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you saying that? It's certainly an interesting situation, but what I'm saying is that we all experience this in our own time, which is why today's principle, pattern, and path is so crucial. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. I like working from principle. What I find is that if I can understand the principle behind a thing, then I can reason and find my own solutions based on that principle. You know, a principle can work a bit like a master key. It can fit into places that and unlock doors, many doors that just a straight one technique or one methodology or one line, one idea may not be able to penetrate. One principle can unlock many doors. And so I like working from principle. And so today's principle is make sure you can see this. Today's principle is that there is no there. There is no there. The other way of saying that is that all energy, including all satisfaction, all joy, all love, exists only here, which means it exists only now. The principle is that all energy only operates here, only exists here, because there is no there. When you think about time and space, let me see if I can actually draw this out for you. I'm gonna draw this out for you because I need you to be able to get this and have it be something that you understand for the rest of your life. Have it be something that you understand for the rest of your life. So watch this. Let's call this space. Let's call this time. Boom. All right. So we got space and we have time. You could think of this as literally the space-time continuum. We move away from Newtonian physics and move into Einsteinian physics. Okay, you dig what I'm saying? So here we go. We have space up here, we have time. Traditionally, we say, okay, we'll start here in Austin, Texas, and we'll go there, which is Houston, Texas, or anywhere else, right? We think about ourselves traveling from here to there. And some people will say, "Oh wow, if I can just leave the city that I'm in behind, if I can just leave the city that I'm in behind and I can get to somewhere else, I can get over there, I'll be happier." But let me ask you, what happens when you actually move in physical space from here to there? So let's say this is Austin, let's say this is Houston. What actually happens? Does If you move from here to so-called there, what's the name of this location? What would be the name of that new location? Have you actually arrived there from your personal experience? Do you actually move and say, okay, well, look, we got the rental car, we got the truck, we got the movers, new apartment, we're in Houston now. If by the time you travel to Houston, is Houston still there or is it something else? Felicity's throwing in the word. That here to there, it literally just is. It literally just is here. Which means that entire you may leave a situation or a place behind, but whatever suffering you are taking from one place, you're just gonna bring it to the new place. This just becomes your new here. The situations that you think you left behind, they somehow find a way to follow you here. The same thing happens in time. We say the other word for here is now. People think, oh man, if I can just get $1 million, if I can just do, if it could just be 5 years in the future, my success is coming in the future, and therefore I'm just trying to get there. But the thing that people do not realize is that once this 5 years comes and goes, you're not going to experience it as a there. You experience it as a now and a here, which means whatever problems, though your situation may change, you know that this is not a universe where challenges disappear forever, which means that the very problems that you may have solved over this way, on your way to becoming whatever, those individual problems may disappear, but the perception of problem does not. The ability to perceive events, circumstances, and ideas as problems do not. It's not as if there's some magical happiness that can be found and experienced over there or over then, because we never experience a place apart from ourselves. Which means You haven't handled the suffering here. You can expect that it'll be there when there becomes here. You dig what I'm saying? And so, if we were to move and exist in a reality where we say, you know what? I don't want to deal with this anymore. Not in the sense that I don't need to plan anymore, but I just don't want to deal with the notion that the future is going to save me. I don't want to deal with the notion that some movement is going to save me. Even if those things are necessary, that's fine. But I know that when I get to the there that I think is better, what I'm really left with is here. I'm still left with myself. I still have to live with myself. I still have to live with me here. However much external situations change. Okay. So our principle is that all energy, it only operates in the here. Because the there that we think we're moving to, it never comes. It never arrives. When we get there, it's also still just here. Which means the methods and modalities that we use in order to treat energy in this present moment will follow us into any moment in the future. That's why our first principle tonight is that all energy only operates here because there is no there there. This is crucial. This is crucial. And so you say, okay, well, we've got this principle, but what's the pattern behind it? Like, how do we how do we understand the thinking that gets us into trouble in the first place? What's the actual pattern the mind is falling into in order to forget this most basic of truths? That when the future comes, it is now. That when we move anywhere, that new there becomes here. That future time becomes here, becomes now. Therefore, my ability to deal effectively with my own thoughts, with my own feelings, with my own emotions, with my own energy is the true asset that I carry with me, regardless of external circumstances. Hmm.